everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight. We're joined by Northwestern head basketball coach Chris Collins. We'll start with an opening statement from Coach and then open it up for questions.
All right, guys. Appreciate everybody coming out tonight. It's always exciting to get started with opening night, and these are always games that, as a coach, you're always worried about because the off season is long. These guys put a lot into it, a lot of practices, a lot of workouts, and now all of a sudden, it's on for real. And we knew from studying this Chicago State team, this was the best Chicago State team we've played. You know, this is a program we've played a handful of times, you know, during my tenure here. And you could see at the jump ball when you looked out there. I mean, they had athletes, they had size, they had quickness. 2 kids as transfers that were former top 100 recruits coming out of high school. So our guys, we had a great deal of respect, you know, for this team and what they could present. And I thought we did a fabulous job defensively. You know, that's got to be our identity. That's got to be our calling card with this team. Our guys have really bought into it. I thought our ability to take away their transition, to really stay in our gaps, make them take tough shots. You know, we got hurt a little bit with offensive rebounding at the start of the game. In the first half, I think they had 10 offensive boards. They only finished with 14, you know, so we shored that up. But overall, I just thought a lot of good things on that end. And then it was difficult to play offense against them guys because they were just switching everything, you know. So when that happens, you know, it's hard to run plays. You just have to attack pressure, and you got to get in the lane, and you got to make plays. You know, when you play teams like that, you can't run plays. You just got to make plays. And I thought we did a good job. You know, obviously 14 turnovers, probably a few too many, but we got 20 assists. I thought we got downhill and we got ourselves to the free throw line. When you play teams that pressure like that, you got to combat that with force and physicality. And I thought we got to the line, you know, 32 free throws, and we made 27 of them, which was huge. So all in all, great to be 1-0. Good to get a win. A lot of guys played well. Robbie Barron was fantastic. Thought Chase Audige was really good. And Matt Nicholson, got to give him a shout out. I thought his energy and minutes off the bench were really good for us tonight.
Questions for Coach? Go to the front.
Coach, you kind of just talked about Robbie's effort today, but he's obviously a leading scorer. But can you talk a little bit about his defensive work rate too, holding Jay-Sean Corbett to 14 points on a really inefficient night, and how much these nights will kind of help this team down the road?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you look at their 2 kind of wing scorers, I mean, Weaver got loose there. I think he hit 2 or 3 threes in the last couple minutes. But if you look at Cardette and Corbett, you know, those were 2 guys we really earmarked defensively, and we put Chase and Robbie on those 2 kids. And we held them to 7 for 30 shooting, those 2 guys. So, you know, Robbie's very versatile on that end. I think he's a very underrated defender. He's kind of the captain of our defense because he quarterbacks a lot of stuff. He sees things back there. And then, you know, Chase is really good as a stopper as well. So, you know, just the job we were able to do on those 2 kids, I thought was a big key to the game. You know, 25 points on 30 shots. You know, you'll take that against good players every night.
Yeah. Coach, we saw some of the young players get some minutes tonight. Luke Hunger getting his first points as a Wildcat. Can you talk about what you've seen from these young players thus far and how you plan to integrate that throughout the season?
Yeah, no, I love these guys. You know, both Luke and Nick are guys that I'm extremely high on. You know, I think they're going to be very good players in our program. They're in a good situation right now because they're playing with a number of veteran guys. You know, and you kind of saw it with Matt Nicholson. You know, he was a guy the last couple years, he's worked, he's developed, he's played behind a couple really good players. It was hard to find the floor a whole lot. When he did, he was ready and called upon, and now he's ready. And I'm not saying those guys are going to have to wait multiple years for that opportunity, but they're learning a lot. And every minute out there is extremely valuable, you know. And I thought Luke, especially those last 4 minutes when he got a chance to get some extended run, he's a big, strong guy. He's very skilled, which you'll see. He can shoot the ball and has a good skill set. And Nick is just a guy I've always had an affinity for. He's got a real crafty game, you know, and he's a competitive kid. And both those guys, I think, have really bright futures. And, you know, as we go along, I mean, we didn't have Julian Roper, you know, so I mean, that's a guy that's gonna be heavily in our rotation once he can get healthy, and hopefully that'll be sooner rather than later.
Do you have any update on Roper, what he's like out for, or how long?
Yeah, he's out with a non-COVID illness, but we're very hopeful that over the next couple days that we can start ramping up some of that activity. He's feeling better, and you know, there's a possibility that he might be ready to give us some minutes on Friday night. But, you know, a lot of that's going to depend on how he adjusts to the rest of the week. So I think it's going to be more of a short-term thing fortunately.
Straight back.
Coach, can you talk about your seniors and how they've stepped up into the leadership role leading this team now, kind of over the offseason and into tonight?
Yeah, I mean, those guys have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. I mean, I think they hear, that, you forget that Chase, Boo, and Robbie have been 3 and 4 year starters in this program. And even though it wasn't the huge leap that we wanted to make, they've won more games every year they've been here, and especially in the conference. And, last year obviously was disappointing because we felt like we had a team good enough to play in the NCAA tournament, but we didn't get it done. But they've gotten better. They've developed. Ty Berry now is a junior. But those 3 seniors have really led us this whole offseason. Been really proud of their leadership. They've created a tone of grit and determination and fight and toughness. And that's what we got to do, because we're going to be in a lot of close games this year. And, you got to have that mentality and you got to rely on those older guys to really lead the way for you. I'm really proud of those 3 guys. And obviously they were named captains for a reason because they've done an outstanding job with leadership so far.
To the back.
All offseason, obviously, with the departure of both Nance and Young, there were questions about what the front court would look like. Tonight, what did you see that was gave you reason for optimism going forward, and what does that mean for this?
Yeah, I mean, I thought you saw the rim protection, and the ability to be physical and protect our basket, and obviously, I mean, Pete was such a unique player, the way he played, and we played to his skill set. And Ryan became such a reliable guy that you could throw the ball into and score in the post. None of our guys really give that element. I think they have the ability to help offensively and to, like you saw with Matt, he gets 4 buckets tonight. I think Titus in our exhibition game was double figures with 11 points. So, but they're going to give Titus is very mobile. He's very experienced. He's a veteran guy. He knows how to play. He's got a good IQ. And Matt is a guy you just got to have, man, in this conference. I mean, we're gonna be playing against some big boys, as we go along in the season, and we're gonna need his physicality, and we're gonna need Luke, for sure. So, I'm impressed with those 3 guys. You're talking about 2 guys that were seniors last year. So, if you compare those guys where Pete and Ryan were as freshmen, it's a little more comparable, and so, I'm not going to compare them to those guys. They were terrific players for us. I just want them to do what they do well. I want them to focus on their strengths and be defenders and rebounders and opportunistic offensive players for us.
Coach, it was the first game for Brian McIntosh on the sidelines. You coached him obviously in 2017. What was it like to see BMAC with you on that staff?
Yeah, I mean, it's special. That's what it's all about. That's what happened for me in my career. I had the opportunity in my 20s to go work under my coach and the mentor that my coach was for me at that age, and how he taught me what this profession was about, and he groomed me and mentored me and kind of showed me what it was like if I really wanted to coach, and I want to do that for BMAC, and that's something that he was such a great player here. He loves the game, and it's funny, it's something we talked about in recruiting. It was part of our recruiting pitch when we got him was, one day I want to coach. And I said, well, it's a lifetime decision, man. You're going to come play for me. We're going to get to the tournament. We're going to get this thing done. And then, we'll get together on the sideline at some point. And obviously I wanted him to play for a long time, but injuries kind of derailed that. And he's got a bright future. He's going to be a rising star. He's smart. He's passionate. He's a really hard worker, and he's got a good way with the guys.
Questions to the back?
Coach, CSU started really strong off the offensive boards.
Yeah.
You guys ended up finishing, I think, 13. You had 13. They had 14. Yep. Was there talk in the huddle about something you changed, or that just the guys kind of adapted on their own?
No, we just at halftime. They had 10 in the first half, and we felt like they only had 21 points. And I think 8 of the 21 were points off of offensive boards, so, that was, we felt like our initial defense was really good and was causing them problems, but they were really crashing the glass. And we said we were going to have to shore that up in the second half. And, fortunately they only got 4 in the second half. I thought we did a better job as the game wore on. We stopped jumping and we started getting into their bodies. They had athletes, guys. I mean, you looked out there, they were strong. They were athletic. They were physical. They were quick. And sometimes with those guys, if you don't put your body on them, they're going to get the ball. And they were doing that in the first half.
Last question, Alex.
Coach, just can you talk a little bit about Brooks's effort defensively, what that kind of brought? I mean, I know he was just kind of a pest there. He only had 5 points, but kind of what that level of intensity brings.
Yeah, Brooks is a huge key to this team. You know, this is I really like what Brooks brings. He's a basketball player, and he's got good size. He's 6'6", he's 220 pounds. He's strong. He's a versatile guy. One of the reasons I like bringing him off the bench, and I told him I view him as a starter, but I like bringing him off the bench, and I call him like a sixth starter because he can sub for anyone. You know, you can put him in the game for any of our guys who start the game, and we can seamlessly keep playing. He can play as a guard. He can play as a wing. He can play as a small ball four man because of his physicality. So he's going to be a huge part of this. You know, he gets 27 minutes tonight. You know, hit a big three. You know, had a big bucket late in the game. And I thought on the glass, his defense, his physicality, it's great to see because he was injured last year and didn't get a whole lot of minutes and experience, but he's one of those guys we're hoping as a sophomore, you know, that you see both him and Julian. These are key guys for us now that they have a year under their belt to really take that next jump.
We'll wrap us up for tonight. Thanks, everybody.
All right, appreciate you guys. Thank you.
All right, everyone, thanks for joining us. By Robbie Barron and Matt Nicholson. We'll start off with some questions. Raise your hand whenever you're ready.
Matt, you had 9 points tonight. Can you talk about what kind of effort you feel like you made coming off the bench and your role for this team for the season ahead?
I'd say that I just kind of try to get out there and do what I can. I mean, playing defense was kind of my biggest priority off the start because we focused on that a lot. And, I mean, points come when they do. I wasn't trying to force anything, didn't try to do anything extra, nor just tried to hustle hard and do what I can at any point for the team, anything for the team.
Robbie, you led the team scoring with 20 tonight. You got to the line 5 or 6 times and 11 free throws. But kind of what was the mindset going into the game? You were going to guard Corbett, who was one of their better returners last year, and you held him to a pretty inefficient night shooting. What kind of do you take from this game and bring to this team going forward?
Yeah, no, we knew they were going to try to play fast, so it wasn't necessarily, you'd be matched up on one person. We knew that it was a team effort, in transition, corralling, putting up a stop sign so they didn't get out on their sideline break. But, it's just really just a team effort. Try to limit their paint touches. When they had the ball, made sure they had somebody in our gaps. I thought we did a pretty good job, the whole game, staying in our gaps, playing together, playing solid, playing team defense.
Robbie, you dropped in 2 3-pointers today. The team as a whole shot 48% from outside. What do you think about the looks you guys were able to create from the perimeter?
I thought we got great looks. That's another thing that we, coming into the game, we said we wanted to pass up good shots and get great shots. And, I think we did that. I think Chase was one assist away from, 10 assists. Boo might have like 7. So, we were sharing the ball. A bunch of other guys had a couple assists here and there. So, really just it was try to team effort, try to give up good looks to get great looks because, you knew your brother would get you on the next one.
Matt, you had a few dunks in the transition offense. Can you speak a little to how the working hard defensively can open things up offensively?
Yeah. So, just kind of a single deflection, just trying to beat my man down the court, kind of just got that open for me. It's just a straight hustle that I tried to provide. You got energy, boosted the team, and then we go back, get another stop because of the energy that I provided. So, anything that happens that I can do to help boost the team's energy, to help on the defensive end, that's all I really try to do.
Any more questions? That will wrap us up. Thanks, everybody.
Appreciate it, guys. Have a good night.